In the last video, the warthog made his first appearance, and it wasn't subtle. Naturally, the Carnotaurus heard him coming. This first narrow panel lets us see that the monster has taken notice. I like making close-ups like this because they let me push the idea of resolution. This is my own project, which means I can draw it in the way that I like best. Throughout the years, I've been pretty honest about the fact that the drawing part of drawing isn't my favorite. It's constantly challenging and takes so much time. There are a lot of incredibly talented artists out there that love the act of drawing for its own sake, and I'm very thankful for them. The part I like is the storytelling. I love seeing images that pull me in with narrative, that let me investigate, that reward curiosity. So I've gravitated towards styles that let me communicate story as clearly and efficiently as possible. For that, I've found tons of inspiration in animation and European comic books. What does that have to do with resolution? Well, the way I work is pretty clean, and I strive for a certain amount of simplicity in what I draw. But I see the world of dead gods as being grounded and believable. The texture and grit is still there, but you only see so much from a distance. As you get closer to things, the resolution of the drawings increases. Ideally, this makes things feel consistent, but also occasionally helps to add that feeling of texture overall. Seeing a dragon's eye this close, I wanted to see a few more wrinkles and bumps, maybe a bit of gunk build up around the eyelids and some muscle strands in the iris. In this next panel, the Carnotaurus gets to show off his reaction time. He has whipped his head around to catch the warthog's arm mid-leap. For the 3 panels this week, everything we'll be seeing has been designed, so I don't have any design segments to discuss. However, this has been a good learning experience when it comes to application. I like how the new warthog design turns out. For those who are a bit hesitant on it, I would love to put you at ease by describing the plans I have for him, but I'm going to let that unfold at its own pace. I'll just say that for what I'm planning, I can already tell that his updated look is going to work better. That said, drawing him in these action scenes has revealed something unexpected. I thought I had simplified him. His costume is a loincloth, a chest plate, some gauntlets and boots, a mask and some hair. Should be fine, but I'm already surprised by how many elements there are to keep track of. It's not so simple. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I still think it's the right design, but I will say, doing this has given me a whole new level of respect for all the generations of comic book artists that drew superheroes in tights. Back when I was working on Tellurian, I had a similar thought. It would be amazing to be able to stop at the anatomy layer. You've got all the muscles in, and they look great. Wouldn't it be nice to just draw a few lines for gloves, boots, maybe some external strongman underwear, add a logo, and you're done? As wonderful as that would be, I'm a story-first guy, and that's not this story. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that these costumes are not arbitrary. They're packed with information about the characters, the world, and their place in it, so I don't get to take shortcuts. I'll keep my model sheets close at hand, and I'll put in the work to make sure every piece is where it needs to be. Which, I say that and then watch me forget his tattoos completely until the final image. I learned my lesson making Tellurian. Try not to get too excited to reach the finish line. Once an image is out in the world, it's got to stand on its own. The pain of seeing a cut corner for the rest of your life isn't worth the extra few minutes or hours you could have spent doing it right. Alright, last panel for this video. We see that this isn't the end for the mysterious hunter. Those thick, sculpted gauntlets aren't just for show. While this may not be exactly what he had planned, he still has options. With the Carnotaurus sketched in, it was time to try to solve this pose. This is where the fundamentals and regular study really comes in handy. Using my ambitious thumbnail sketch as a base, I first tried to figure out what his skeleton might look like in this position. If I couldn't get this stage to work, I'd have to go back to the literal drawing board and figure something else out. Thankfully, nothing seemed broken, and it read how I was intending. With the bones laid down, I could start stitching on muscles, using its major anchor points as a guide. At this stage, I am painfully aware of how much of this work will end up hidden. Well, except from those of you watching this video. But I never think of it as lost work. It's a foundation. With this information, when I cover everything up, I can do it with more confidence. If, down the road, a bit of shoulder blade has to be visible, or if only a sliver of skin is seen between the hair and the armor, I feel better knowing exactly what and where everything is supposed to be. There have been drawings where I've laid out a character's entire body, when only the head and forearms turn out to be visible. But then, when the time came for the drapery to be pressed out slightly by a knee, there was zero guesswork. It's slower, but for me the alternative is wobbly, indecisive drawings of characters that look like they've had their skeletons stolen. Okay, pencils down, inking pens up. While the line work plays out, I think stories are important. We use stories to look back, from history to legends. We use stories to speculate about the future. Our best moments become stories we tell and retell for the rest of our lives. And when we die, we hope to leave a story worth telling. We shape our own lives off the stories that impact us the most. Real and fictional characters can inspire us to become better tomorrow than we are today. One of my kids told me that Aragorn reminded them of me, and you can just put that right on my tombstone. Stories can shape not just individuals, but entire populations. They are a powerful tool, and they've been used benevolently and nefariously. I don't know about you, but it feels like it's harder and harder to find stories that can be described as the former. But we are alive at an incredible moment in history. The tools necessary to not only create stories, but to get them into the hands of their intended audience are more accessible and powerful than ever. The world, we need stories. We need good stories. Not perfect, not award-winning, not the next great American novel, but stories that inspire, that change people for the better, no matter how small the audience may be. The old trees are falling. Sunlight is starting to pour in through the gaps they're leaving in the canopy. The seeds planted now have an historic opportunity to grow. They may not survive, they may not grow large, but this window is bigger than it's been in several lifetimes. So tell your story. Make the time. One of the seeds I've already planted is Tellurian, an adventure story about an unwanted young man who becomes a hero thanks to the transformative power of a father figure. It's framed around the armor of God from Ephesians 6 in the Bible. Damsels are rescued, the secrets of ancient ruins are revealed, mysterious cultures are explored, they even travel over the edge of the world. You can read it for free on my website, and if you like it, think about picking up a physical copy. This project is the next seed I'm planting. When I reach a critical mass of episodes, I'll release them together in book 1. I don't know how many books this story will require, but I'm excited to find out. If you'd like to help this seed grow, think about becoming a Patreon member. My patrons have already been a massive blessing to me, from offering helpful feedback, to sending in brilliant reference material, to being my sounding board, to inspiring me with their own projects. All the links are in the description below, and if you hear nothing else, tell your story. Thanks for hearing me out. Okay. I had some space in this composition on the top left corner. Originally, I had a bit of extra text in there, but it got the axe because it wasn't adding anything that meaningful. I didn't change the thumbnail because I really liked how this panel looked. I decided to pull a George Lucas and use it as an opportunity to add some more flavor to the setting. I could hear Rick McCallum's critique of the Phantom Menace echoing through the decades. It's so dense, every single image has so many things going on. But you know what I like drawing? People. This setting gives me carte blanche to shove as many colossal statues into frame as I want. And I'm going to. Oh, mark my words, I'm going to take it too far in a few places, and you'll say it's getting out of hand, and they'll just keep coming. And with that, the panel is a wrap. Page 2 is now 1/3 complete. The action will continue next week. Thanks for watching.